That is right, Sarah. We are going live to Western Sydney, where a gunman is on the run after a shooting in Maryland.
Plus, the Victorian Premier calls for crisis talks with African leaders amid a spike in gang violence in Melbourne. Breaking today, chaos in Western Sydney. A gunman on the run after opening fire on a Maryland's home. 3 people inside.
Safer in Africa, parents sound the alarm after Melbourne's crime crisis claims another 2 young lives.
Begin this hour with breaking news in Sydney's west, where a gunman is on the run after firing shots at a home with 3 people inside.
Let's go live to today's Sydney reporter Gabrielle Boyle at the scene in Maryland. Gabby, what more do we know?
Sarah Carl, I can tell you that just moments ago, 2 men and 1 woman were taken from this family home by police. We assume to be further questioned at the nearby police station after a number of shots were fired into their family home in the early hours of this morning. It was 2:38 a.m. that a number of calls were placed by neighbours to 000 after these shots were fired. Police found a number of cartridges in the street. The street itself, Wright Street here in Maryland, has been shut down for several hours as the investigation continues, and police are hunting for a dark-coloured car that was seen fleeing the scene moments after these shots were fired.
Gabby, thank you.
An internet meme is reportedly at the centre of a breach which has claimed the life of 2 boys, one aged just 12 years old. Live to Today Melbourne reporter Christina Hearn. Chris, the Victorian Premier has called crisis talks.
Jane, Jacinta Allen has called for urgent talks with leaders of the South Sudanese community over this gang warfare, which is spiralling out of control. This latest attack, a double murder, a 12-year-old boy and a 15-year-old boy walking home from a basketball match on Saturday night in Melbourne's west when they were set upon. 9 newspapers this morning reporting that a meme was behind this attack. That meme made mention of the stabbing death of a youth gang member late last year. Neither of the victims were involved in that incident. Here is the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Ted O'Brien, speaking on the show a little earlier.
We need zero tolerance for this, absolutely zero tolerance. We are here in Australia, we are all blessed with rights, but those rights come with commensurate responsibilities, and that includes following the rule of law, and the state government should absolutely crack down.
It comes as one of the leaders of a youth organisation here in Melbourne, AfriCause, says that he's actually helping parents in Melbourne send their teenage kids back to Africa to go to boarding school there to escape the gang violence here in Melbourne. Dr. Ahmed says he's helped 7 teenagers relocate back to Africa, and Jane, we will be speaking to Dr. Ahmed on the show in the next half hour.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Erin Patterson is this morning waking up in prison, where she will spend at least the next 3 decades of her life. The mushroom cook was sentenced to life in prison with a non-parole period of 33 years over the murders of 3 family members and attempted murder of a 4th.
You inflicted untold suffering on your own children, whom you robbed of their beloved grandparents.
Ian Wilkinson, the sole survivor of the deadly lunch, spoke outside court, thanking investigators, the prosecution and health workers.
Our lives and the life of our community depends on the kindness of others. I'd like to encourage everybody to be kind to each other.
Erin Patterson and her legal team have 27 days to lodge an appeal.
Trying to keep the unity on the desk. You're a beautiful man. He's a beautiful man. Well, let's head south now. Victoria is fast becoming Australia's home of violent crime. In May, a Machete attack sent a Melbourne shopping centre into lockdown. In July, a group of armed thugs robbed 8 convenience stores and service stations, terrorising staff right across the city. And just last week, a drive-by shooting saw a home in Melbourne's southwest peppered with bullets.
And this past Saturday, 2 boys aged just 12 and 15 were on their way home from a basketball game when they were brutally stabbed to death by machete-wielding thugs. And this is barely scratching the surface. For more, we are joined this morning by Chief of Melbourne-based not-for-profit AfriCause, Dr. Burhan Ahmed. Doctor, good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us. So those 2 children who we just heard about, killed on the streets of suburbia in your community, first of all, how are their families doing?
Well, sir, thank you for the opportunity. First, this family and many families are traumatized. They have been waiting this to happen, and it's happening. The question is not what happened. I feel my heart goes to the family. But more for me is the protection of the coming. There's more coming to this than just what happened. If we can't act on it, there's more danger in our doors. No one is safe unless everyone is safe from us. So these kids don't feel safe at all. And the community has been traumatized and, tormented in the past, 3-4 days. 4 young men has been killed. The 2 on the Saturday, and 1 on Sunday morning, and 1 on Thursday. So this is not just the first and the last. There is more to. So unless we do something on this, families are, especially mothers coming to my office, are crying for help.
Okay, we'll get onto that in a second. But some of these mothers have come to you, and is it true? I mean, you're a non-for-profit, and you've been helping terrified parents send their children back to Africa. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, yes, Carl, the family is in desperate situation, and I have just been showing, Julia, the kids have been stabbed by knife and all that stuff. They don't feel safe. The kid has been warned to be killed. The mothers go to police station and ask police, unless they see something evident of crime, they don't act. When the crime comes like this, then they come, all of them and every one of them. This is too late. Mothers want before their kids being killed. So they need somewhere to go safe. If you send them interstate, they can't afford the budget to maintain that process by keeping some children here and other children on the other side. So the question is, the only safe place for them is to take the child out of the country and to put them in a safe place where they can feel he will be alive and safe for some time. But the problem also here that I need to mention, the child protection and the courts, they only see the papers. Where is the child? And you have to bringing that child is more to the crisis than to help that child to go back to school or to do any meaningful. So the families are now crying for more help to save their children, because some children are already on the target list. Unless we do something, there will be more of this to come.
You mentioned the police there, Ahmed, but what about also the government? Because a lot of the Victorians who I've spoken to are concerned that the Premier is not focusing on youth crime at the moment and is not keeping the residents of Victoria safe.
Well, to be honest with you, there is actions happening, but the actions are just superficial in a way. We need to understand the problem to solve a problem. Without understanding, we cannot solve the problem. The root causes of this are children dropping out of school. Unless we create an environment where these children can stay in school, preventing crime is the next step. The Premier is trying to do that. But for me, the call is, how do we help these kids to stay in school first? And then that protection and that support from prevention of crime and others will come to next step. So let's unite our forces to bring safety to each and every family here, to each and every child. And school is the first get for a 12-year-old. There is no place to go but school. And the schools has to also accept that. Our children has been the weakest link in the school to be kicked out.
Doctor,
due to behavior.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're almost out of time. The level of violence here and the proliferation of machetes, the images we're seeing and the brutal nature of these attacks, like we saw on the weekend, I mean, this is Australia. This is so shocking. Now, everyday Australians don't feel safe in their own neighbourhoods, and you're saying even those inside the African communities don't feel safe. It's got to be fixed. How do we do that right now to ensure the safety of those communities?
Well, to do that is, in my way, is reaching out to the community affected, not one or two. All those communities living in that sort of area, they know. To be honest with you, mothers come to me. They say, if they reveal this story, can I protect them? If they reveal what's happening to their kids or who is doing, can I protect them? I asked that, and I wrote a letter to the police. They can't give me any protection for them. So I can't do that. But the question is, these people have the information. They know how to help their kids. But they're fearing for their life and for the other children. So the question is, to get over this is to give these people the right support, the right protection, so that these things can be addressed. Otherwise, the kids are the weakest link that can be used and, thrown into many crises, and they are, way that they lost the track to education and to employment. The only track they have is dealing with these criminals. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. There is a hell of a lot of work to do there. As Sarah was pointing out before, thank you, Doctor. When you and your friends are going out there and buying personal security items.
Yeah. I was shocked to hear it because I was there on the weekend and we were talking about this surge in youth crime, and I have friends who know people close to them who have been victims of crime in Victoria in recent times, in Melbourne, and so they are going out, they're buying, top-notch security systems to protect themselves in their homes. They're trying to find bats, weapons essentially to try and protect themselves and their young families because they don't feel as though they are safe on the street. So at any moment they feel like they could potentially be carjacked, they could have a burglar in their house. And as we've seen with so much of that footage from security cameras, I might add, that they don't care, that these repeat offenders in most cases don't actually care, and they're walking through people's homes, they're attacking people. And it's not just about the thrill of making away with a car. It's turning to violence, and that's the most concerning part. And as we know, that has a psychological impact on these people, their children, their families for years to come.
It is beholden upon any government to keep their people safe. And that is not happening right now in Victoria. Let us know what you think about that.
Make the politicians responsible for importing all these people to go and live next door to them in the community, and then watch how fast they fix up the immigration issues.
Pretty cool, isn't it?